what's up everyone, Ragey Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always. Though I can already predict that's going to be coming to an end here soon. This is definitely going to be one of those articles that's probably going to devolve into an angry rant. I'm probably going to be living up to my name here, let's just put it that way. This right here is a prime example of why I chose not to get into criminal justice. I took enough classes to learn all I needed to know that I don't want to have anything to do with it. This story has a happy ending, but everything else about it is complete bullshit and should scare everyone. Labrador dog named Lucy saves Oregon man from sex conviction. Just from the title, nothing wrong here. Sounds like it's going to be a great story with a happy ending, and like I just said, it does have a happy ending. But there's a lot to be mad about here. The discovery of a black Labrador named Lucy led to the unraveling of a criminal case Monday against an Oregon man who had begun serving a 50-year prison sentence. Keep that in mind because this is going to be important for the angry rant phase. A 50-year prison sentence. This innocent man was already tried and convicted and was starting to serve his sentence. Definitely makes me rethink my previous policy of not considering someone guilty until they've been convicted. Even after they've been convicted, they may not be guilty. So let's see, what exactly was this guy nailed with? Joshua Horner, a plumber from the Central Oregon town of Redmond, was convicted on April 12, 2017 of sexual abuse of a minor. Yeah, that's pretty serious, isn't it? This guy's a convicted pedophile. Who would want to defend scum like this? Except he's not. Just one of the many reasons I'm kind of pissed at today's emotionally driven, outrage-based society. All it takes for everyone to throw you under the bus is to just apply the label of pedophile to you with or without any evidence, and it's game over. And it would have been game over for this guy had his accuser not been a total idiot and fucked this up. In the trial, the complainant testified Horner had threatened to shoot her animals if she went to the police about the alleged molestation, and said she saw him shoot her dog and kill it to make his point. The dog that they later found alive, by the way. They were able to very quickly figure out that, no, the dog was never shot, it was given away. Kinda makes you wonder what the hell the prosecutor's office and the cops were doing when they should have been investigating this case, doesn't it? But again, I'm gonna try to avoid going into the angry rant now. Cause this is not the worst of it. I need to save my rage for when it's actually important here. I don't want it to be overdone. I don't want people to get too desensitized to it. So for now, I'll just let you think about how the hell they could have just been making claims like this and nobody questioned it. Well, did anyone else hear the gunshots? I mean, it's in town. Where's the body of the dog? Where is there any little bit of evidence that this guy actually did anything wrong? That's the important part. That's what we're going to be ranting about here real soon. But before that, we're going to get into another thing that really bothered me. 6 months after a jury convicted Horner in a verdict that was not unanimous, he asked the Oregon Innocence Project for help and the group took up his case. So that first part, that's kind of what bothers me. The jury convicted him and was not unanimous. Any of you out there who are lawyers, could you please explain that one to me? I know it works differently in civil court. But in criminal court, especially when dealing with serious charges like child sex abuse, I always thought that unless the decision by the jury was unanimous, it was declared a hung jury and another trial had to be held. Unless I'm completely misremembering everything I thought I knew, I thought that a jury not being able to come to a unanimous verdict was considered a hung jury, which means invalid trial effectively. So I can't stay too long on this topic and ranting about it because, like I said, I just don't know. I'm asking you guys for help right now. Can any of you guys link me to how this is possible? But that aside, that is a little bit of silver lining in this case. Some people on this jury actually had some damn brains and were capable of thinking instead of just feeling. People who operate on emotion and are easy to manipulate emotionally are the scum of the earth. Especially when it comes to our legal system. Oh, but man, I gotta stop myself here. Almost preemptively started ranting. But either way, after this, the article goes on to describe the process of how they quite easily were able to find the dog. Again, gotta wonder what sort of investigation was actually done into this case. And because they found the dog alive, they pretty much proved that the accuser lied under oath. So now we get to the first of the mini rants. Hummel, who by the way is the district attorney here, told the court Monday that he's not certain that Horner didn't sexually abuse the complainant, but that he's now not convinced he did. Maybe you should have actually looked into it instead of listening and believing, huh? The Associated Press is not naming her because it typically does not identify alleged victims of sexual abuse. Yeah, so now a false accuser, a provable false accuser who lied under oath, instead of being treated like the criminal she is still being treated like a fucking victim. I don't even got any words for this shit. This is the society we live in. Some random bitch can just accuse a guy of rape, completely ruin his life, lock him up for 50 years. That's pretty much a life sentence. This guy wasn't exactly young. Not feel any remorse for it. I actually got to wonder, why do this? Why'd she do it? Maybe she was having an affair with someone and needed to pretend to be raped so her boyfriend doesn't find out. Who knows? But someone please explain to me, where's the justice here? When can we expect her to face justice for almost completely ruining a man's life? I keep saying this and I'll keep saying it until it happens. But we cannot have justice in cases like this until the punishment for a false accusation is equal to the punishment the falsely accused would have received had they been convicted. And in this case, it's not even speculation. The guy received a 50-year prison sentence for something he didn't even do. So this stupid bitch needs to get a 50-year prison sentence as well. Anything less than that is way too little. Until we start cracking down on this shit, this problem is never gonna go away. Oh, but she was victimized and traumatized. There may have just been a few mistakes. Oh, okay, mistakes. I'm gonna read this part to you and tell me if this sounds like something an actual victim would do. After Lucy was found, the complainant failed to attend a meeting in August to discuss her testimony. Last Wednesday, one of his investigators heard she was at home near Redmond. When he pulled up to their driveway, she ran away. Doesn't that just sound like an innocent victim to you? Again, why they haven't arrested this bitch and locked her up for 50 years is beyond me. And everyone who helped her with this farce too. I'm quite sure her parents were probably in on it, trying to get rid of the dog under the table. They all need to be locked up for 50 years for this bullshit. They literally almost doomed a man to die in prison. They should not be allowed to just walk away from this. Next bit of bullshit. The excuses begin. Hummel said in an email the issue of the dog being shot was raised for the first time during the trial. Doesn't that sound a little bit suspicious? So there was no investigation to be done regarding it prior to trial. And here's the important part. And we had no credible reason to question the statement after it was made. Oh, so you just listened and believed, basically. This never came up until the trial itself. All your interviews, nothing. Not until the trial. And you had no reason to question it, really? These are the people that decide whether you live and die, by the way. They just can't be asked to do their jobs. No credible reason to question the statement after it was made. So I could literally say whatever the hell I want, and you're gonna have no credible reason to question me, right? Oh man, Mr. Hummel raped me when I was 13. You guys got no credible reason to question the statement. Let's just take this straight to trial without doing an investigation. I will give the guy a little bit of credit in the fact that after this was brought up, he just dropped the case. He could have continued the fight like some prosecutors do, which again is one of the big reasons why I decided not to get into this field. The district attorney's job in this case isn't to get convictions. It's to see justice served. Yet for a lot of them, getting convictions is their main goal so they could get more political power. That's all it is. They're doing it for their own personal gain. Doesn't matter how many innocents they have to crush on the way. This is exactly what tanked the prosecutor in the Duke Lacrosse case, by the way. They were able to prove that he had evidence that the guys were innocent, but he ignored it and went through with the case anyway because he wanted the publicity. He wanted a high-profile conviction on his records to boost his political power. These are the people who often decide who lives and dies. Don't ever forget that. Your life may be in the hands of one of these egomaniacs one day. But here's the thing I really wanted to rant about. I just about blew my shit when I read this the first time. And remember, I'm not making any of this up. You could look at the screen right now. To be able to establish that a person should not have been convicted, you need something objective. In most child sex abuse cases, there is no evidence. Finding Lucy alive showed the complainant lied under oath in her testimony. This right here should really be a wake-up call to a lot of you. To prove someone should not have been convicted, you need something objective. But that same standard is not held when it comes to convicting them in the first fucking place. He says right here, in most child sex abuse cases, there is no evidence. They had nothing objective to prove he did it. They sentenced him to 50 years in prison. then they needed something objective to prove he shouldn't be in prison. This is the exact opposite of how we are sold that our justice system works. If you are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, how was this guy proven guilty with no fucking evidence? How can someone be proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, which I'm told is the standard in our criminal system, when there was no goddamn evidence? Sounds to me that, at least when it comes to child sex abuse, it's the responsibility of the accused to prove that they are innocent beyond a reasonable doubt, and not the responsibility of the prosecution to prove they are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Doesn't this seem like literally the exact opposite of how we are told our criminal law system works? And I'm calling it the criminal law system, not the criminal justice system, because there is no fucking justice here. It's all feelings. Because this right here is supposed to be the one defining factor of our legal system that makes it superior to all others. The presumption of innocence. Innocent until proven guilty. And here we are locking people away with no evidence. I guess the cornerstone of our entire fucking legal system can just be discarded whenever convenient, huh? And as I've been alluding to, this right here is proof that our legal system is way too reliant on fucking emotion. What generally happens in a court case is the lawyers take turns trying to appeal to the emotions of the judge and the jury, and the best emotional manipulator wins. Facts are often completely irrelevant. How else would you be able to convict someone with no evidence? Holy shit, at this point, I shit you not, I would be happy if they just replaced all judges and juries with AI. Because even as faulty as AI is in current year, it would still be preferable to people who are prone to emotional manipulation. At least we know the machine would make fair judgments, unclouded by emotion. As I've said on multiple occasions already, if you have to resort to emotional manipulation, then as far as I'm concerned, that's proof that you are wrong and have no actual facts and logic on your side. And our legal system, where people's fucking lives are literally at stake, is the last place where emotions should be allowed to be the determining factor. And that's all I gotta say, guys. Thanks for listening.